Hey gearheads and adrenaline junkies, buckle up because we're about to take a terrifyingly thrilling trip down memory lane. Or should I say, down some of the world's most insane roads. These aren't your Sunday cruise scenic routes. These are the highways from hell, the paths less traveled for a reason. From heart-stopping drops to unpredictable weather, these roads will test your courage and maybe even your sanity. So, hit that subscribe button and get ready to white-knuckle your way through the top 10 roads you would never want to drive on. This seemingly innocuous causeway in France hides a treacherous secret. Twice a day, the rising tide transforms this 4.3-kilometer stretch into a submerged path. Miscalculate the tides, and your car becomes a seafaring vessel. Even during low tide, the road remains slick with seaweed, making for a nerve-wracking drive. Nicknamed the Road of Death, this infamous Bolivian highway holds the Guinness World Record for most dangerous road. Narrow, unpaved, and clinging to cliffs with sheer drops of thousands of feet, the North Yungas Road demands unwavering focus and a touch of bravery, or perhaps insanity, to navigate. Thankfully, a new, safer route has been built, but the original road remains a chilling testament to human audacity. The Dalton Highway, also affectionately known as the Haul Road, is a 667-kilometer stretch of unforgiving Alaskan wilderness. With minimal services, brutal winters that can dip to -60°C, -76°F, and a constant threat of icy roads, the Dalton Highway is no walk or drive in the park. The only companions you're likely to encounter are massive tanker trucks carrying fuel, adding another layer of caution to this desolate landscape. Often hailed as the eighth wonder of the world, the Karakoram Highway cuts through some of the most breathtaking mountain scenery on Earth. Towering peaks like K2 and Gusherbrum flank the road, offering unparalleled views. However, the beauty comes at a cost. The highway traverses some of the highest mountain passes in the world, with unpredictable weather, landslides, and the ever-present danger of altitude sickness. Drivers must be prepared for sudden snowstorms, whiteouts, and the potential for avalanches. Only experienced drivers with a healthy dose of respect for the mountains should attempt this high-altitude odyssey. Located in the heart of New Zealand's South Island, Skipper's Canyon Road is a narrow, winding gravel track carved into a steep river gorge. With sheer drops, sharp corners that require precise maneuvering, and unpredictable river crossings that can become impassable after heavy rain. This road is a challenge even for skilled off-road drivers. Add in the possibility of rockfalls and unpredictable weather, and Skipper's Canyon Road becomes an adventure best reserved for those with a thirst for adrenaline and a strong sense of self-preservation. This iconic mountain pass in Italy is a favorite amongst driving enthusiasts for its thrilling switchbacks and stunning alpine scenery. However, with 180 hairpin turns crammed into a relatively short distance, the Stelvio Pass is no joke. Narrow lanes with minimal guardrails leave little room for error, and high altitude can lead to car trouble and driver fatigue. Unpredictable weather conditions, including fog and snow, can further complicate matters, making this a drive best suited for experienced drivers with nerves of steel and a well-maintained vehicle. The Lemanali Highway, also known as the High Altitude Road, is another high mountain challenge in the Himalayas. The road cuts through some of the most spectacular landscapes in India, offering views of snow-capped peaks and dramatic valleys. However, the altitude, reaching over 18,000 feet at some points, brings its own set of dangers. Thin air can cause altitude sickness, leading to dizziness, headaches, and difficulty breathing. Drivers must be prepared to acclimatize properly before attempting this journey and be aware of the signs of altitude sickness. Located in the Andes Mountains, Los Caracoles Pass, Spanish for the Snails, winds its way up a steep mountainside in a series of tight hairpin turns. The lack of guardrails along these sheer drops and the ever-present danger of falling rocks add to the white-knuckled driving experience. Combine this with unpredictable weather conditions, including high winds and snowstorms, and Los Caracoles Pass becomes a true test of driving skill and courage. Only those comfortable with extreme heights and adverse weather conditions should attempt this challenging route. This 2-kilometer stretch on the Greek island of Crete might seem unassuming at first glance. However, this narrow, dirt track clings precariously to the edge of a steep ravine. with sheer drops to the sea on one side and unforgiving mountains on the other. The lack of guardrails and the ever-present possibility of encountering loose rocks or oncoming traffic only heighten this sense of danger. Add to this the potential for strong winds that can buffet the car, and Patio del Palu to Takar becomes an unnerving drive, even for the most seasoned mountain road veterans. Australia's vast outback is home to a network of remote and unmaintained tracks that should only be attempted by experienced off-road drivers with properly equipped vehicles. These tracks can be hundreds of kilometers long, stretching through unforgiving terrain with limited supplies and services. The dangers include scorching heat, flash floods, getting bogged down in mud, and the possibility of mechanical failure with little chance of immediate assistance. Navigation is another challenge, as these tracks are often unmarked and poorly maintained. The remoteness of the outback tracks makes them a potentially life-threatening proposition for the unprepared. So, the next time you're planning a road trip, consider these challenging routes, but perhaps only from the comfort of your armchair. While the scenery along these roads might be breathtaking, the driving experience is definitely not for the faint of heart. There's a whole world of beautiful roads waiting to be explored, but for these 10, it's best to leave the driving to the professionals, or those with a serious case of wanderlust and an iron stomach.